episode 4, Chasing Squirrels. And it's your boy Icon with a DC animated TV review for you. And before we get started, hit that notification bell, like it or subscribe, and let's talk about a little creature Commandos. So, yeah. So this one was a doozy for many reasons. And it was also simple at the same time because it starts with the Creature Commandos. They're back from overseas and they've completed the mission. Rick Flag said his goodbyes to the princess and everything, and then I said now they're home. When they get home, because they have Cersei, like she's under lock and key, they got her hands tied up and everything, because they said she can't use her magic the way she's supposed to if her hands are tied. So they're bringing her into custody to go speak to the Wall. And as they bring her in, there's a lawyer that meets them at the landing site. Because they're at the Argus, we're going to call it Argus. They're at the Argus base where Amanda Waller is. Like, they're at the base. And while they're at the base, a lawyer shows up and says that she's the lawyer for the Weasel. And they call him John Doe, and she said that she's been waiting for him because she has to brief him because they're supposed to go to court, and she's determined to make sure that the Weasel doesn't go to jail or gets acquitted. She's trying to get the Weasel released for the crime that he allegedly committed because she thinks that he's innocent, and she wants to free him. My whole thing is, if you do prove his innocence, where the hell's he going to go? But that's irrelevant. So she gets the Weasel, they go to the interrogation room to have a talk. Rick Flag is now talking to the bride, and while he's talking to the bride and having a conversation with the bride, Frankenstein now, he's in a helicopter because apparently this monster has money. So he paid 2 Argus agents to fly him to the military base so he can spy on the bride or whatever. He's in a helicopter. The 2 guys are flying the helicopter. He's in a helicopter. He has his binoculars. He sees the bride talking to Rick Flag. Well, to Richard Flag. Well, Colonel Flag. And then while she's talking to Flag, he sees her talking to Flag, and then he immediately gets instantly jealous and he starts losing his shit. She's like, oh, that's the man that wants my bride, and like he loves her or whatever, he can't have her. Then he gets all upset, and then in a blind rage, he accidentally, well, I don't say accidentally, he basically kills the pilot in the helicopter and kills the other guy that was in the helicopter too. The helicopter crashes, and now he's upset because he's like, oh, I'm gonna get you, Flag, for trying to take my bride. Now this is the part that was crazy to me. If you're like, I understand he had binoculars, but because he was in a close enough proximity to the point where he could see Rick Flag with the binoculars, he could see the bride with the binoculars. If the helicopter goes down and you're on the Argus base or close to the Argus base when the helicopter goes down and it crashes into the ground and explodes, how is it that no one at the Argus base was like, hey, there's something going on across the field, or like, hey, our radar picked up something, we should investigate? Nobody mentioned it. Nobody brought it up. Nobody investigated it. This entire helicopter just crashed and burned 10 feet from the Argus base, and everybody was just like, business as usual. Like, let's keep it going. I was like, what are we doing? So anyway, he's out, and then we go back inside. The Creature Commandos now, the rest of them anyway, like they're back, under lock and key. They're in the cafeteria. The group that went overseas, they've kind of bonded now, where like Nina and the bride and like the radiation dude, like they bonded a little bit. They helped each other when they were in the cafeteria because some people were picking on Nina. I still need to know why Nina doesn't know how to fight. And while she's even in Argus custody, the Weasel was talking to, his lawyer. That turned out to be nothing. She was showing him pictures of like because first they said that he killed 27 children. And then she was like, no, it was only like 9 children. Personally, after seeing what happened at the end of this, I think it was 8 children, but we'll get to that in a second. So now they got Cersei under lock and key, and then Amanda Waller, she's talking to Cersei, and Cersei was like, they were like, why'd you try to kill the princess? And then she's like, oh, I did it to save the world. And then they had this whole conversation about Themyscira. So Themyscira is a thing and Wonder Woman's a thing, so we could stop talking about that. The white dude with the red beard, he was also in Peacemaker. He voiced his own character, so that's nice to see him still around because we'll see him in Peacemaker too. And they did make the reference because in Peacemaker, at the end of Peacemaker, he did get his leg hurt because when they were trying to like stop, like the aliens or whatever, like he did get his leg hurt, and that injury is still like carrying over. So that was actually nice to see as well. I like the consistency. So it's like, so they're talking to Cersei, and Cersei was like, oh, I tried to kill the princess because she's going to grow up to destroy the world. And then she was like, I'm clairvoyant and I have all these magical powers. So she used her clairvoyant powers so Waller can see what she sees. So then when we did the dream sequence where she showed Waller the future, it was a future of the princess growing up to become a dictator and a warlord and basically like taking over the planet and murdering everybody. She was sitting at the president's table, like blood and everything in hand, and then she was like she basically like she took over. And yes, there was the scene with the Justice League being on spikes. We saw Superman, we saw Batman, we saw Wonder Woman, we saw Starfire. Yes, these characters are here, but like I said, but it was a dream sequence. So, but during the dream sequence, and this is the part that was, and this is why I'm a little disappointed with Amanda Waller. During the dream sequence, when the princess was raising the flag, like raising the flag of victory, and she was letting us all know that she was the one that took down the world, and she took over the world, and she killed the Justice League, and blah blah blah. How does Amanda Waller not notice the big ass gorilla standing next to her? I'm like, is Gorilla Grodd not a thing yet? Are we not aware of Gorilla Grodd? Or, because it wasn't the humanoid, because the humanoid, like, the damn helmet wouldn't have fit on his head. And Grodd does have the power of persuasion, where he does have mind control powers. Like, clearly Gorilla Grodd mind controlled the princess and used the princess to take over the world. Why does Amanda Waller not, like, this is the part, like, the wall usually doesn't miss these things. She was so focused on the fact that this girl, like, took over the entire planet that she completely missed the 7-foot tall gorilla standing next to her. And I was like, damn, Waller. I was like, shame on you. So now she's just like, oh, we have to kill the princess. And then Flag's like, no, because Flag hit it, so he don't want to kill her now. So her and Flag are getting into an argument over whether or not to kill the princess. And then, Flag was like, I'm not going to do it. And he leaves. So then she tells the Redbeard dude, she was like, oh, go get the creature commandos ready and tell them, to go kill the princess. And he was like, but who's going to lead the mission? And then she said, we got to find somebody that can be, she said, we need to find somebody who's not like Rick Flag, who's not, no, because, Rick Flag was like, I'm not going to do it. You're not going to kill the princess. And he walked away. So then she said that we need to find a leader that's not a whiny little bitch. But then she said, we need someone who's less whiny and more bitch. And I was like, that was actually a good line. Like, I fucks with the wall. So anyway, so they ended up getting the same creature commandos. They got everybody except, well, Weasel was there too. They basically, because, and GI Robot is dead, they got everybody except Flag to go back overseas to try to kill the princess. While Rick Flag was basically trying to save the princess. He was trying to call her. He couldn't get a hold of her. While he was trying to call her and get a hold of her, Frankenstein ran up on him. I don't know how he found him. Frankenstein ran up on him, and he was like, oh, you're trying to take my bride from me? And he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? The two of them started talking, and then when he told him the story, he was like, I actually want to protect the princess. I don't give a damn about your bride. And then he started telling him about the bride, and it's like, oh, she's my love, and blah, blah, blah. And that's when Flag was like, hey, maybe the two of us can help each other. He said, if you help me, rescue the princess, I'll get you to your bride and you can be with your bride. His dumb ass fell for it. And now the two of them are going to team up and try to rescue the princess so he can be with the bride. In the next episode, it's going to be the Frankenstein backstory. And I'm going to be honest, I don't care. His backstory is basic, cut and dry. Like, we know we know his backstory. Like, we can guess that. We don't need to see, I'll be very surprised if they tell me something about his backstory that actually interests me, because the way it's been set up right now, I really don't give a shit about his backstory. And I'm like, what is taking them so long to give us they are really making us wait for this Nina backstory. Because every episode they show us that, again, she's like the most kind, sweetest person on the planet. And there's no reason why she should be an Argus. And I need to know why she's an Argus. Well, anyway, like I said, so now Frankenstein and Flag, they about to go overseas to rescue the princess. The creature commandos are on their way overseas to go kill the princess. And now both trains are going to collide. While they're on the helicraft, on their way to, go kill the princess, the Weasel is asleep and he's having a dream about what happened back then with the children. So basically, and I'm gonna be honest, this part actually emotionally got to me. It was emotional and it was angering at the same time, because we find out that the Weasel was basically, and I will say this too, the one disappointing thing about, I love the Weasel's backstory because of how heartstring pulling it was. But the thing that I didn't like about it was, what the hell is the Weasel? How did the Weasel come to be? What was his backstory? How did the Weasel turn into whoever the Weasel is? I thought we were going to get that. We didn't get that. Anyway, so the Weasel basically just rolled up on a children's playground one day that was next to a school. There was about 9 children that were on the playground. They started playing with them. Some random guy, and this is the low points of humanity. There was some guy who, despite the fact that when he pulled up on the playground and he saw all the children, it was clear that the children were laughing, the children were playing, the children were having fun. He saw the weasel and was like, oh my God, this thing is trying to kill these children. So I'm like, so we don't see the laughing, we don't see the giggling, we don't see the non-threat. This is the prejudice. You just see something that you don't understand, and now all of a sudden you're freaking out. He calls the cops, and he tells the cops that there's a werewolf that's harming children. The cops are on their way down to the scene. Despite the fact that the cops are on their way, this asshole decides to take it upon himself to go get his shotgun and go kill the weasel. So at this point, the children manage to sneak into the school. They're in the school boiler room, and they're playing around having fun. They were going in teachers' rooms. They stole some liquor out of a teacher's drawer. They're downstairs in the basement. They're playing. They're having a good time. While they're playing around, one kid found matches. And when the one kid was I don't know why the kid was trying to light the damn matches. When the kid lit the matches, something flew across the room and bust the kid in the head that had the liquor bottle. The liquor bottle fell, the matches fell, the matches got mixed in with the liquor, and a fire broke out. So now there's a fire downstairs in the basement. When the fire broke out, there was one child that ran upstairs and tried to leave the basement when the fire started. The rest of the kids just acted like nothing happened. And when that kid got to the top of the stairs, she bumped into the old guy with the shotgun. And he was like, why are you scared, child? Is that monster doing something to you? And then he looks down, and you see seven or eight children down laughing and playing and everything, and there's a big ass fire behind them. This idiot looks at that and goes, oh my God, there's a monster. I'm like, bro, do you not see the fire? Like, do you not see the fire? Why are we not calling the fire department? Why are we not trying to get these children to safety? You are so focused on this damn weasel, the damn building's burning down around you, and you don't even notice. But that one child that ran up to the top of the stairs, and this is just a guess on my part, I think she's the lawyer. I think she grew up to become the lawyer, because if you're a lawyer, why the hell would you take this case? And then she was like, don't worry, John, I'll get you out of this somehow, I promise. Why do you care that much to try to get him out of prison? What is so special about the weasel, which is why you're so dedicated to getting him out of prison? The reason why she's so dedicated to the cause, I feel like we're going to find out she was the child that ran up the stairs and tried to leave when the fire broke out. So she knows the truth about the whole situation. I don't know how she got out of the fire. Maybe when the guy went downstairs with the shotgun, maybe she just left the building completely. But I feel like I think we're gonna find that out. We're gonna find out that girl grew up to be the child that ran out of the building. So then the idiot goes downstairs. There's a fire. Like, there's a fire. And then he tells the weasel, he's like, freeze, otherwise I'll shoot. And then he shoots anyway. He ends up hitting a propane tank, and now he blew up the entire school. And when the school blew up, that's when the cops showed up. The cops look downstairs into the basement, and they see the weasel trying to pull the children out of harm's way. And then they go, oh my God, it's a monster, stop or we'll shoot. Once again, do you not see the fire that is surrounding this building? God damn it. I don't want to say anything negative about certain types of people, but Jesus Christ, like, if you know, you know. Like, that's all I'm going to say. If you know, you know. So now, despite the fact that the building is burning down and there are children that are unconscious on the floor, they're still focused on killing this weasel who is dragging one of these children out of the building. Of course, he dragged out the blonde white girl. That's a different conversation for another day. But he's dragging one of these children out of the building, and they're trying to kill him while he has a child in his mouth, which he's pulling the child away from the fire. And it's like, it was so frustrating to watch, but it was so true at the same time. Because in certain places, I wouldn't be surprised if this was a southern state. In certain places, this is how people are. This is how people think. This is how people's prejudice is, where we're so fixated on one thing that we don't understand. Our eyes are blind to the truth that is happening all around us. And it was very disappointing. It was very disappointing to see, because it was true. So then when they shot the weasel and he dropped the girl ended up burning alive. The girl's like clearly alive, reaching for help, and then they pin the weasel down and they're trying to arrest the weasel, and not one of them went to go help the girl, and nobody has yet to call the fire to Jesus Christ. So that was basically how the weasel ended up in Argus custody. The police and that old dude with the shotgun was basically responsible for killing those 9 children. Like I said, hopefully the girl, the lawyer, who I think, again, was the girl that went up the stairs, hopefully she can clear the weasel. They done got me feeling bad for the weasel out this bitch. I cannot believe y'all got me feeling bad for the weasel. But that was how the episode ended. And for the love of God, thank you for tuning in. So, yes, very powerful episode, very emotional episode. Like I said, I feel bad for the weasel. I feel bad for the princess because the princess is a result of Gorilla Grodd. But again, I like the story that he's telling. Like, I gotta be real. Like, I'm the one that said when it comes to the James Gunn universe, I'm not going to make my decision until I see the product. And when it comes to the Creature Commandos, I like the product. And I wasn't even a fan of this damn thing. When he first announced Creature Commandos, I said, who the hell gives a shit about some Creature Commandos? But it's good, but you gotta be real. Like, it's good. And I definitely like it. I hope you guys like it too. But if not, tell me why. If you do, tell me why. What do you think about episode 4 of Creature Commandos? Share your questions, comments, and concerns down below, and we will continue to talk about it. Check out my other reviews because I actually did do a review for the Superman trailer. That's up on my channel as well. I also reviewed Marvel's What If. I got Marvel's What If coming up on my channel. We will be doing Harley Quinn on January the 5th when Harley Quinn comes back. Got some new Harley Quinn t-shirts to wear. And also wait for that Peacemaker that comes out in January as the James Gunn DC universe is off to a promising start. So that was it, guys. So thanks for tuning in. So till next time, I don't even know what to say at this point because I feel bad for the weasel. But till then, when we see how this unfolds, take care, and we're out this bitch.